Okay, many of you have already been told, and those of you in the room that are entrepreneurs know that SMMEs are actually the engine of the economy. And without SMMEs, we actually struggle. Large enterprises have their role to play. However, it's the SMMEs that keeps the wheels of this economy turning. Very often when we think SMME, we think the spaza shop down the road. And it's not always the case. I mean, some of the businesses that you've heard just now alludes to the fact that SMMEs are growing at a phenomenal rate. So SMMEs do form a part of something really big. They account for quite a significant portion of their contribution to GDP, and they have the potential to promote domestic-driven growth of new and existing industries. SMMEs are more likely to hire from traditionally economically marginalized groups with lower chances of finding employment, such as youth, women, older workers, and less skilled workers. They have also been credited with democratizing the labor market and driving more inclusive economic growth. Okay, just in terms of providing a legislative framework for SMME development, in South Africa we have the National Small Business Act, we have the National Strategy for the Development of Small Business, the National Development Plan, the New Growth Path. We now have the Reimagining Industrial Strategy that replaced our IPAP. We have the BBB framework, we have Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act, and more recently we have what is called a National Integrated Small Enterprise Development Master Plan. This is the contribution that SMME makes to the economy in terms of turnover. You can see that small businesses contribute 22% of an overall 10.5 trillion turnover, medium contributes 10%, and large about 68%. And you'll see the sectors that SMMEs predominantly operate in, which is business services, community and social, and trade. And you can see the rest of it, right? Okay, these are the factors that actually impedes SMMEs, but it's also very, very relevant to women-owned entrepreneurs. If you look at it, it's usually the lack of financial capital, it's the lack of social capital, physical capital, human capital. There's often institutional inequalities, social inequalities, cultural inequalities, and internalized sexism. What do SMMEs need in South Africa? It's usually institutional coordination. If you're looking at the span of services and support offered in South Africa, there's quite a large range of support services. There are two issues. One is that they're not efficiently coordinated, and the other issue is they're not well marketed for people to know what's out there and to be able to gain access to it. The other thing is enabling business environment, education and training. I think we were just discussing on the table how difficult it is in South Africa to be able to comply. You know, the little things like SARS. And we say, you know, sometimes educated people who supposedly has degrees and qualifications struggle with these different compliance requirements. Imagine a small business in a community. Education and training is absolutely critical for SMMEs to thrive and grow. Access to markets, support for new business opportunities, support for growth, technological readiness and innovation. Artificial intelligence is taking over the world. It's becoming a lot easier for people to be able to generate businesses, generate incomes from writing. It's easier to write, it's easier to prepare presentations because of the availability of technology. And also using technology to be able to improve on the efficiency and productivity of your business. The other important aspect is access to finance, linkages and partnerships. I think earlier we spoke about ecosystems, and we spoke about leveraging off each other, supporting each other in communities, and that's what SMMEs need. Shared services. If you're looking at SMMEs, very often they're a single-person business owner, and they'll just say, it's me, I'm the CEO, I'm the CFO, I'm the COO, I'm the human resource person, and everything. So how often do you have an SMME who's able to focus on HR issues, or SaaS compliance, or financial management? So they would definitely benefit from something like shared services. Then if you're looking at tenders in South Africa, it's like quite a complicated, complex environment. And if you're looking at the documentation, I know just sitting on the other side of the table, it's sometimes difficult to understand. Imagine a small entrepreneur. So having that kind of support is largely beneficial. Okay, this is what is called the National Integrated Small Enterprise Development Plan. It's basically what underpins the support for small enterprises in South Africa. It has been developed by the Department of Small Business Development. And you'll see some of the guiding principles is think small first. You know, if you're looking for a service, we often go for the more established business that has long history and track record. But you never know about the innovation of the small business that started down the road, you know, and being able to give opportunities where it's possible. And another of other important things is about closely monitoring, regular reporting of some of the key objectives and strategies that are put in place, right? And you'll see the targeted beneficiaries of this are youth, women, people with disabilities, township development, rural development, and military veterans. Okay, when you look at the current ecosystem that we operate in, largely for procurement opportunities, you find that, as I mentioned already, big business always gets the bigger part of the share, right? If you're looking at any given tender, you'll find sometimes it's international companies that win the tenders because of their knowledge and expertise and long-standing track records, or it's a larger company as opposed to a smaller company. So this is the current ecosystem, and we're hoping that through the National Integrated Small Enterprise Development Plan, Master Plan, we are able to channel procurement opportunities to both the big players and the small players. Okay, in South Africa, we have through the Small Business Enterprise Development Agency, which is run by the Small Business Development, is SheTrades. And I've presented on this before, but I thought it does require a reminder because sometimes at the conferences, you always have different people participating. So SheTrades is a platform to support women-owned businesses in having access to international markets and be able to access export opportunities and participate in global value chains. Some of the benefits of this includes connecting with diverse businesses and building a strong network through business deals and opportunities. It relates very much to what we were speaking about in that roundtable session, being able to offer and source products and services. Women-owned businesses can sell their products and services by posting offers on this platform. They can also peruse offers and make orders, learn new skills, participate in workshops, trade fairs, and other business events, stay up to date with SheTrades activities, news, and success stories. The other opportunity we have at the Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition for small businesses is where we pay for small businesses to be able to attend international opportunities through exhibitions and be able to access this through our EMEA fund. I'll go into our incentives shortly, and that is one of the incentives that we offer. Okay, then I mentioned already, access to finance is one of the biggest impediments to small businesses. You know, you often struggle trying to get a loan from a bank, all the documentation that you have to produce, and I think the accountants in the room will testify how difficult it is to be able to get finance. And the National Empowerment Fund provides such finance to small businesses. They have some of the guiding principles, includes providing finance to business ventures established and managed by Black people, invest in Black-owned and managed businesses. Obviously, it's a National Empowerment Fund, so it's targeting Black-owned businesses. And these are some of the different funds available and the threshold of the funding available. As you can see, it's not small funding. You know, you think 5,000 or even 1 million, this goes quite far in terms of providing access. Some of the funds are the Mbewu Fund, the Women Empowerment Fund, the Rural and Community Development Fund, and the Strategic Projects Fund. This is the DTIC's incentive scheme. We have a number of different schemes available. Previously, it used to be 100% grant funded. But what we found is that we were not helping businesses to become sustainable, because what would happen is when you give somebody a grant, the first thing they would go is use the money to purchase a luxury vehicle without actually investing the money into the business itself. So what we do is we now reduced it to 50% grant and 50% usually an interest-free loan depending on the type of incentive, and I'm going to give you an example. So that interest-free loan is payable, so we have more money into the fiscus to be able to reach a larger number of businesses. And it helps for the fund to be more sustainable. One of the programs that we have to support the clothing, textile, leather, and footwear industry is a clothing, textile, leather, and footwear growth fund, which is largely managed by the IDC. And we've redesigned this particular incentive, and we've done it from scratch, where we included more pillars. And one of the pillars that we included was the ones for SMMEs, because we found that largely it was large enterprises that were benefiting from this. So we've added a pillar for SMMEs, and we've added a pillar for women. So women-owned entrepreneurs now get access to a larger percentage of a grant, whereas other businesses will get maybe 40% or 50%. Women-owned businesses will get 60%, and the other 40% will be an interest-free loan. And I think that's the way in which government is trying to improve on their access to finance for SMMEs and women-owned businesses itself. Okay, then another organization that women of stature can benefit from and does benefit to a certain extent is Productivity SA. I'm fortunate enough to be the acting chairperson of the board of Productivity SA. And therefore, I see a lot of synergies. You spoke about ecosystems earlier. There's a lot of opportunities for women in this room to participate in Productivity SA programs. Their programs are intended to improve sustained inclusive economic growth, full and productive employment, wealth creation, and income growth. So what a Productivity SA productivity practitioners will do is go into a business, evaluate it from a productivity and efficiency scale. They have their own tools that they use to evaluate it, and they look at what is it we can do, firstly, to improve on productivity. You know that improving on productivity improves ultimately on the turnover and the efficiency of them. They look at areas of wastage. One of the things we did recently is partner with the International Labour Organization. We went into companies of leather and footwear. And if you know the leather and footwear industries, very often the working conditions are not very good. You know, people working in factories that are very unsanitized. You find things lying all over that provides or presents safety hazards. And we looked at how we can turn around that factory layout to include decent work, improved conditions for workers, but at the same time ensuring that the efficiency and productivity levels of that company increases, ultimately realizing increased turnover. Okay, and then our previous speakers have spoken a lot about fear and the fact that being an entrepreneur in this country or around the world is not an easy journey. Many people are filled with fear in order, just trying to face a new day, looking at the economic challenges. Interest rates are going up every day. Food prices are going up. Fuel prices are going up. So fearlessness is not the absence of fear, it's the mastery of fear. And that's what Kim has spoken about. It's about getting up one more time, then we fall down. Challenges that force us to search for a new center of gravity. Don't fight them, just find a new way to stand. And finally, if you don't build your own dreams, someone else will hire you to build theirs. And therefore, entrepreneurship in this country and SMME development is so important so that we can all start our own paths and journeys to wealth creation. Thank you.